And welcome to First Post America. I'm Eric Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. And over the next few minutes, we'll take you from the United States and around the world, covering all the top stories of the day. But before that, here's a look at the latest headlines. The United States vetoes a draft UN Security Council resolution that demanded an immediate, unconditional, and permanent ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, saying it fails to condemn Hamas. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un vows to unconditionally support Russia in its war against Ukraine, as Moscow and Pyongyang strengthen strategic partnerships and mutual cooperation. Authorities in southern China offer rewards of more than $1,000 for the arrest of 20 people they say are Taiwanese hackers accused of organizing, planning, and premeditating attacks on key government sectors. Hong Kong appoints retired New Zealand Supreme Court Judge William Young to its top court as the finance hub tries to replenish its shrinking roster of foreign judges following Beijing's imposition of a security law in 2020. And consumer goods giant Procter & Gamble says it will cut 7,000 jobs, or about 6% of its total workforce, over the next 2 years as it navigates uneven demand due to U.S. tariff uncertainty. We begin in Washington, where President Donald Trump has revived one of the most controversial policies from his first term, a sweeping travel ban targeting several nations. On Wednesday, the president signed a proclamation barring entry to the United States for citizens of 12 countries, citing national security concerns and the need to protect against, quote-unquote, foreign terrorists.
In my first term, my powerful travel restrictions were one of our most successful policies, and they were a key part of preventing major foreign terror attacks on American soil. That is why today I am signing a new executive order placing travel restrictions on countries including Yemen, Somalia, Haiti, Libya, and numerous others. But we will not allow people to enter our country who wish to do us harm, and nothing will stop us from keeping America safe. Thank you very much.
Now, the travel ban, which takes effect on June 6, blocks all travel from Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. In addition, travel from Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela will be partially restricted. Citizens from these countries will not be allowed to enter permanently or on tourist or student visas. President Trump, quote, stated, "We will not allow people to enter our country who wish to do us harm," end quote. He pointed to issues like terrorist presence, weak identity verification, poor record keeping, and high visa overstay rates as reasons for the new restrictions. The president also cited Sunday's attack in Boulder, Colorado, in which an Egyptian national, Mohammed Sabri Solomon, allegedly threw a gasoline bomb into a pro-Israel crowd. Now, Solomon had overstayed his tourist visa, although Egypt is not on the banned list.
The recent terror attack in Boulder, Colorado, has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted, as well as those who come here as temporary visitors and overstay their visas. We don't want them. In the 21st century, we've seen one terror attack after another carried out by foreign visa overstayers from dangerous places all over the world. And thanks to Biden's open door policies, today there are millions and millions of these illegals who should not be in our country.
Now, the move is part of the Trump administration's broader immigration crackdown, which includes deportations of Venezuelans suspected of gang activity, denial of foreign student enrollments, and tougher asylum policies. However, the ban includes exemptions for green card holders, previously issued visas, athletes attending major events like the Olympics, and Afghans eligible for the special immigrant visa program due to their support for U.S. forces during the war.
We will not let what happened in Europe happen to America. That's why on my first day back in office, I directed the Secretary of State to perform a security review of high-risk regions and make recommendations for where restrictions should be imposed. Very simply, we cannot have open migration from any country where we cannot safely and reliably vet and screen those who seek to enter the United States.
Now, Venezuela, which is one of the partially banned nations, reacted sharply. The Interior Minister slammed the U.S. as a fascist state and warned that being in the United States is a big risk for anybody, not just for Venezuelans. The country went on to accuse the U.S. of targeting its citizens without justification.
The United States has just released something prohibiting the entry of any Venezuelan into the country. It's about 9 countries, not even with a visa. It's forbidden. Visas to the U.S. are being eliminated. Honestly, being in the U.S. is a big risk for anyone, not just Venezuelans. If you're really that foolish, then go to the United States.
Somalia, meanwhile, pledged cooperation, while Myanmar, Laos, Iran, and others did not respond immediately. Now, in Afghanistan, critics expressed outrage over the inclusion of the country whose citizens have long cooperated with American troops. Afghan EVAC, which is a self-organized group of Afghans, veterans, frontline civilians, called the decision a moral disgrace.
To include Afghanistan, a nation whose people stood alongside American service members for 20 years, is a moral disgrace. It spits in the face of our allies, our veterans, and every value we claim to uphold.
The Trump administration's travel restrictions come amid growing global instability, from civil conflict in Sudan and Libya to humanitarian crises in Afghanistan and Yemen. And as the policy's impact begins to ripple across embassies, airports, and communities, the world watches closely. But the bigger question remains, who might be at it next? And staying with the White House, Elon Musk is once again mounting an attack on the president's tax and spending bill, which is being hotly debated in Congress. After calling the bill, quote unquote, disgusting abomination, the Tesla CEO is now urging Americans to call their senators and kill the bill.
Call your senator. Call your congressman. Bankrupting America is not okay. Kill the bill.
Now, Musk, who recently left his cost-cutting role in President Trump's administration, has gone even further, renaming the legislation as the debt slavery bill and warning it would explode the U.S. national debt. His latest criticism came after the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimated that the bill, which extends Trump's 2017 tax cuts and increasing spending on defense and border security, would add about $2.4 trillion to the current $36.2 trillion U.S. debt pile. It also comes as the bill proposes phasing out electric vehicle tax credits, a direct hit to Tesla, and rejects Musk's proposal to shift air traffic control to his Starlink. Now, Musk, who was also the largest Republican donor in last year's election cycle, has said a new bill must be drafted, one that does not massively grow the deficit or increase the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. The former Trump ally is not alone in his sharp criticism, however. In fact, reports suggest the bill, known as the Big Beautiful Bill, now faces opposition from Republican deficit hawks and a handful of rural state senators. Their concerns include proposed cuts to Medicaid, a health insurance program for low-income Americans, and Republican Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin has reportedly criticized the bill as failing to reverse the trajectory of budget deficits and debt.
I refuse to accept $2 trillion plus deficits. We have to address that problem, and unfortunately, this bill doesn't do so. I'm worried about our kids and grandkids, the fact that we're mortgaging their future. It is wrong. It's immoral.
Meanwhile, amid mounting criticism, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson said that Elon Musk was wrong in that issue.
Elon and I left on a great note. We were texting one another, happy texts, Monday. And then yesterday, 24 hours later, he does a 180 and he comes out and opposes the bill. And it surprised me, frankly. And I don't take it personal. We don't take it personal. Policy differences are not personal. I think he's flat wrong. I think he's way off on this.
Now, Speaker Johnson maintains the bill is the largest debt reduction package in history, claiming $1.6 trillion in cuts. Meanwhile, Democrats are increasing the pressure, with Senate Leader Chuck Schumer reportedly urging senators to consider Elon Musk criticism. So as backlash builds, the future of President Trump's big, beautiful bill remains deeply uncertain as the Republican-led Senate attempts to pass the legislation before July. And now shifting focus to the Middle East, where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government is under pressure from one of its coalition allies. A member of Israel's right-wing coalition has threatened to quit Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet and support an opposition motion to dissolve parliament. United Torah Judaism, one of the two ultra-Orthodox parties in the coalition, said it would withdraw support unless it secured last-minute concessions to formalize a law exempting ultra-Orthodox men from military service. Now, this escalation comes as Israel's main opposition party, led by former Prime Minister Yair Lapid, has submitted a motion for a parliamentary vote next week to topple the government, even as the war against Hamas continues.
This Knesset is finished. It has nowhere else to go. All that it has brought to the people of Israel is pain and disasters and bereavement and crises.
Now, previous no-confidence motions have failed, but the difference this time is the rising tension inside the coalition itself. The two ultra-Orthodox parties, who hold 18 of the coalition's 68 seats, have been boycotting parliamentary votes for weeks in protest against the conscription. Now, ultra-Orthodox Jewish seminary students have been exempt from compulsory army service since Israel's founding over 7 decades ago. But Israel's Supreme Court has ruled that this exemption is unconstitutional, and reports suggest a large majority of the Israeli public supports mandatory conscription for the ultra-Orthodox. Now, this has put Benjamin Netanyahu, of course, in a difficult position as his coalition is reportedly split on the matter. Reports suggest that if he fails to pass a new exemption law, ultra-Orthodox lawmakers would walk out, while approving it could prompt a protest exit by secular parties. In March, similar threats were made to bring down the government, but no action followed. Some reports indicate that if the ultra-Orthodox parties join the opposition, they could have the number to force early elections a year ahead of schedule, which polls suggest Benjamin Netanyahu could struggle to win. These growing political tensions came at a time when Netanyahu is facing public anger over his failure to prevent the October 23 Hamas attack that killed about 1,200 people. He's also under increasing pressure from protesters and families of hostages still held in Gaza to secure their release.
After 603 days of war, it is clear that Netanyahu's government has not done and will not do everything required to bring our hostages home. The only chance we have to get them back is with the help of President Trump and Special Envoy Witkoff. We are facing moral bankruptcy. Netanyahu is abandoning our loved ones in captivity and crushing the Israeli ethos upon which we were raised, for his own political motives.
For now, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has remained silent on the looming crisis, but reports suggest that negotiations within the coalition are in fact continuing. Still, it's unclear if Netanyahu will be able to hold together this fragile coalition and complete his full term before the next scheduled elections in 2026. In a royal twist no one saw coming, Meghan Markle marked her daughter Lilibet's 4th birthday not with tiaras or tea parties, but with a throwback dance video straight from the delivery room. The Duchess of Sussex shared the unexpected clip of her and Prince Harry dancing just before the birth of their daughter. And like everything with the royal couple, the video sparked a wide range of emotions and responses from onlookers. While fans celebrated the moment, critics accused Meghan of stealing the spotlight. Was it celebration or self-promotion? Here's more on the reaction from royal insiders.
Nothing says happy birthday darling quite like a hospital room shimmy. To mark Princess Lilibet's 4th birthday, Meghan Markle tossed another tradition out of the palace window and posted a throwback video. that's part maternity moment, part TikTok challenge, and part public relations firestorm. In the video, which was filmed just before giving birth, the Duchess of Sussex sways, twirls, and lets her bump boogie to the beat of Baby Mama dance with none other than Prince Harry, who's also seen busting his own dad moves right beside her. Meghan captioned the clip, "4 years ago today, this also happened. Both of our children were a week past their due dates. So when spicy food, all that walking, and acupuncture did not work, there was only one thing left to do." And apparently that one thing was dancing like labor depended on it. Decked in a black wrap dress, Meghan grooves with confidence. Harry, in a green hoodie and blue jeans, joins the act, gamely gyrating. While some called it bold, some called it bizarre, and together, social media had a lot of things to say. So what should have been a feel-good flashback spiraled into digital drama. And after Meghan deactivated comments on Instagram, the social media royal insiders took to X, where their backlash came harder than a Braxton Hicks contraction. Desperate attempt, one user moaned. "Meghan Markle is just stupid," another snapped. Even British journalist and media personality Piers Morgan, who is always lurking in Markle's mentions, delivered his signature snark. Sharing the video, he wrote, "We're about 2 months away from the sex tape." Yet not all reactions were scathing. Some fans applauded the Duchess for keeping it real, or at least calling it completely normal. Still, the internet rarely agrees, especially when Markle's involved. But the birthday love did not stop at TikTok moves. Taking it to the gram, Meghan also released a carousel of intimate family photos, equal parts windswept, sentimental and glossy. One black and white shot shows her cuddling a young Lilibet on what looks like a breezy boat ride. Another captures baby Lilibet cradled in Meghan's arms moments after birth. And a third shows Harry walking barefoot in the sand with his daughter. Backs turned, flanked by palm trees. "The sweetest bond to watch unfold," Meghan wrote. "Daddy's little girl and favorite adventurer." Born on June 4, 2021, a year after her parents left royal duties and moved to California, Lilibet became princess when her grandfather, King Charles, took the throne. She joins Big Brother Prince Archie, now 6, in what might be the world's most watched family photo album. So yes, Meghan danced, the internet screamed, but one thing's for sure, Lilibet Diana's birthday made headlines. But just maybe not the kind you find in a fairy tale.
And finally, we bring you a story about swiping, but with caution. That's the message from U.S. authorities to Americans using dating apps while traveling in Mexico. A new security alert from the U.S. Consulate General in Guadalajara warns of a string of kidnappings involving U.S. citizens who arrange to meet strangers through dating platforms. With romance turning risky and digital flings leading to real-life danger, officials are urging travelers to rethink their romance abroad and maybe read the travel advisory before booking that beachside rendezvous. Our final report has the details.
If your summer travel plans include tequila, sunshine, and a little romantic escapade to the south of the U.S. border, Uncle Sam would like a word. The U.S. Consulate General in Mexico's Guadalajara city has issued a PSA that can basically be summed up as love hurts, especially when it ends with a ransom demand. This is after several Americans looking for sparks on dating apps ended up getting kidnapped in the picturesque tourist hotspots of Puerto Vallarta and Nuevo Nayarit. Instead of finding the one, some found themselves in unfamiliar rooms with kidnappers. Authorities didn't name any specific apps, but we imagine Cupid is now ghosting Bumble and Tinder. What we do know is that these digital meet-cutes turned into real-life nightmares involving extortion and frantic phone calls to relatives back home. Here's what the State Department advised. First is to swipe smart. Using dating apps in Mexico cool, Just maybe don't accept that invite to a private beach picnic in the middle of nowhere. Second is to meet in public places only. That cute rooftop bar, great. That random Airbnb in a jungle, not so much. Thirdly, keep people in the loop. Tell your bestie everything about your romantic endeavors, who, what, where, and on which app. Bonus points for screenshots. Fourth is to channel your inner detective. If it feels sketchy, it probably is. You don't need closure, you need an exit. And last but not least, 911 still works. Whether it's a guacamole emergency or actual, 911 is your go-to in Mexico. And if you're wondering, should I even go to Mexico right now? The US government has issued a travel advisory for Mexico. The Mexican state of Jalisco got an official classification of level 3. This means reconsider travel. While Nayarit was given a level 2 classification, this translates to exercise increased caution. All thanks to the rising kidnapping cases. Consider this government's language for maybe just do a Zoom date instead. As online dating continues to be a global pastime, romance abroad isn't going anywhere. But US government would prefer your vacation story ends with an engagement ring and not a true crime podcast episode. So go ahead, fall in love, eat tacos, and live your best life. Just remember, if your date suggests an off-grid adventure in Mexico, maybe it's time to swipe left.
That's our time for First Post America today. We certainly thank all of you for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you right back here again tomorrow. Thanks everyone for tuning in.